Welcome back to the DraftKings Life Podcast. I'm your host, Meg Powers, Talent Acquisition Specialist, and I'm joined by Mike Rizzi, Recruitment Marketing Manager. What's up, Rizzi?
Hey, Meg. Not much. I feel like I haven't seen you in weeks, though, so it's great to be back. How's your summer shaping up?
Summer is good. It feels like it's winding down. We still got a little bit of time. Excited for football season. I am a Bills fan this year. Yeah, I'm excited about that and really looking forward to kicking off episode 1 of season 4.
It's definitely an exciting episode. But before we get there, Meg, let's talk about some hot jobs here at DraftKings.
Hot jobs.
So our first hot job, we're looking for a senior director of global people operations. In this role, you'll partner cross-functionally to develop, define, and deliver services and standardized people processes. You'll oversee the strategy and implementation of key programs and tools that enable the people team to work more efficiently on a global scale. This is your opportunity to be creative while working on complex challenges here at DraftKings.
Sounds like an exciting one. We are also searching for a program manager to design and deliver the VIP value prop to help us deliver best-in-class VIP experiences. As a program manager within the VIP team, you will collaborate cross-functionally with our sales, marketing, and operations, risk, and products teams to design and deliver key programs that support our VIP operations. If you're a people person who loves transforming ideas into action, then we know this is the place for you. Check out these jobs at careers.draftkings.com.
DraftKings Now pregame report.
The DraftKings Now pregame report is back to give you exciting company updates and keep you in the know with all things DraftKings.
That's right, Meg. And recently, DraftKings just announced a new strategic relationship with national entertainment concept Sports and Social to create upscale sport and social and DraftKings sports bars beginning in the Nashville and Detroit markets, pending regulatory approvals. The collaboration brings together Sport and Social's market leadership in operating high efficiency, first-class dining and entertainment venues with DraftKings top-rated and industry-leading sports gaming platforms.
DraftKings Marketplace, the NFT ecosystem designed by DraftKings for mainstream accessibility, is now live and it features its first preseason access collection. The exclusive debut content is provided by Autograph. These sports-related NFTs are available exclusively on autograph.io and on DraftKings Marketplace. Customers nationally can join the first drops featuring Tom Brady. Check it out now. We are excited to have one of our founders on the podcast today. So, Paul, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about what it means to be the president of product and technology at DraftKings.
Thank you for having me as well, Megan. So I am the president of product and technology at DraftKings, as you said, Megan. And what that means is essentially the whole product and technology organization rolls up under me, which everyone that is building the daily fantasy apps are sports betting products, our casino games, including our internal tools like our marketing tools, our data science teams, data engineering, all of those teams report through my organization. There's a lot of the products that people see and they're the ones that people interact with and people play, but there's also a lot of things that we do on the technology side that are behind the scenes that make our company operate. So all of that reports into my organization.
Awesome. So for those of our listeners and employees who maybe don't know and probably should at this point, but Paul Liberman is one of our founders. So Paul, maybe you can walk us through your background and the founding story of DraftKings.
Sure. Thank you. So my background is in engineering. Originally from this area, I went to school at WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, and graduated with an electrical engineering degree in computer science. I immediately went to work at a company called Analog Devices. It was a great place to work. And I started building amplifiers. And what I realized is that my passion is building things. And I wasn't getting that type of passion in my core job. And one of my roommates at the time was working at Vistaprint, and he said, "Come on over." A gentleman by the name of Jason McInnes, who actually works at DraftKings now. So I went over and I joined him at Vistaprint, and I decided to change my career a little bit because I liked the kind of more of the business aspect, not just the engineering aspect of what I was doing. So I moved over and I started working in web analytics at Vistaprint. And there I had some amazing experiences where I got to go and build some of their first platforms around web analytics and testing, customer analytics, marketing, and also met some really amazing people there, really talented. This was back in 2005, 2006, when internet was clearly very popular, but a lot of the technologies around measurement and analytics were just beginning. It wasn't as prevalent as it was now. And at that point in time, I also met Jason Robbins, who is our CEO. And we became friendly, and we talked a lot about like entrepreneurial things that we wanted to do, but never had a great idea. So halfway after about 4 years of working at Vistaprint, I decided to change careers again. And I went to a company called Ando Media, which was a startup. And I learned a lot at Ando Media as well. They were an internet radio measurement company. I ran their analytics team, and I kind of learned what it's like to be at a very small startup. What are some of the things that they did well, but what are some of the mistakes that they made that I would that I wouldn't want to replicate. So I was there for almost a year, and then decided to go back to Vistaprint. Love the people, love the organization. And that's where I ended up reconnecting with Jason, and I met Matt. Jason and Matt worked together, and we were in a fantasy football team. Matt and Jason were very competitive. I was there to do it socially because I was definitely not as good as them. And we talked. We were talking about ideas, and then Matt came up with the idea of this daily fantasy sports thing, and he told it to Jason first, and Jason wanted to bring me along as well to help build out the product. And the next day they told me, and I think immediately it clicked as this is a great idea. Let's see what how we get this done. They told me on a Friday, and that Saturday we all decided to meet at my house in my spare bedroom in Watertown, where we kind of kicked off the very first DraftKings meeting. And from there, we worked crazy hours, worked, out after our full-time job at Vistaprint. We'd go back to my house and we'd work till, 10, 11 at night, almost every day, weekends. And then finally, we got to a spot where we decided that we had to leave Vistaprint in order to make DraftKings succeed. We were doing a lot of work. We knew that it wasn't going to be possible to succeed in both. And it was around Thanksgiving of 2011 where we made the decision to quit our jobs. And that's, from there on, we've put everything that we can into DraftKings, and it's been quite a ride.
That's an incredible, what a great story. I love how it evolved, over time, kind of pulling in all the different, experiences that you had, and ultimately you've built a really great company. So I'm curious, did you always know that you wanted to work in this space in technology, sports, and gaming, or did that sort of just come with the territory and evolve over time?
Yeah, so I'm, for full disclosure, I'm not a sports fan. I will go to a game and I enjoy watching games, but I'm not. I don't avidly and passionately follow sports, which people think is crazy. My friends that are sports fan are like, how do you have this job at DraftKings, running product and technology for like one of the biggest sports companies in the world, and you're not even a huge fan. But for me, it was about, I did know that I wanted to be in technology. I knew I wanted to be in building, and it's really the entrepreneurial background. For me, the most exciting thing is the challenge of building something from scratch, launching new products, launching new ideas. It's the excitement of working with, small teams and getting everyone together aligned and creating something that people are going to love. There's nothing, that is, that's better than hearing somebody be like, that's, the coolest product, or I love your product. I love your game. So I always knew that I wanted to build, I wanted to be entrepreneurial. I wanted to be in technology. I liked complex problems. I'm, very motivated by challenges of, delivering something. And I'm also very competitive. So I love winning. I should probably say I hate losing. But I'm, very competitive, and that's what drives me. And when I heard the idea, that what really resonated for me was, it was a small team. Jason and Matt were great coworkers at Vistaprint, really had a lot of respect for them. And it gave me the opportunity to build something that I thought would be very popular. And, to this day, that's what drives me, is innovation, new product development. How do we become better? How do we at the things that we do? And that's what really drives me.
I love that. I remember when I started 3+ years ago, and I told my dad I was coming to work at DraftKings. He also was like, "You don't like sports? Like, what are you talking about?" And I remember just being like, "It's a really cool company. I think it's going to be great." And, it's been an awesome experience. So I've helped also build, some of the engineering team in Dublin a little bit. And, now I'm back on the business side, but the engineering team has grown like leaps and bounds in the last 8+ years. So what do you think makes that team unique? Like, why is it special, and why has it been such a big focus for DraftKings?
Yeah. Before I go into that, something that you said about, sports is, I heard the same thing, and I'm like, I used to work at Vistaprint. I'm like, do you think I really love business cards or no cards or postcards? I'm like, don't have a super significant passion over, printed products. And really at the heart of it, we're a technology company, and we're writing data science algorithms, solving complex problems around sorting and algorithms. And, it's we are running marketing promotions, and we're figuring out how do we optimize them? How do we create, brand new technology around that? So I think a lot of people, while if you like sports, it's amazing to be here, because you're definitely, entrenched in it. And every once in a while, you'll see athletes walking down the hall, and it's extremely cool. But if you don't like sports, we're still a technology company. And that is with a lot of really interesting problems that people get to solve day in, day out. So yeah, sports not necessary. Anyway, sorry, I digress. What was your question?
The question was, how is the engineering team has grown a lot. So yeah. How do you think this team is like unique, I guess? What makes it special?
So first of all, when people ask me what I'm most proud of at DraftKings, it's definitely the people that we've been able to bring onto the team. We have an amazing, talented team. We have a really high bar for talent, and amazing people that work here that, honestly, it's just like, that's why I love coming to work and dealing with great people. So that's one thing that I think we've been extremely successful at, and we will continue doing over time. The other amazing thing is that we have built up a very diverse team, diverse set of skill sets, diverse backgrounds in many different locations. And that's really added, like made everything a lot more interesting. A lot more innovative. People think have different life experiences and think differently. And that has been an amazing add to the team over the last year since COVID. We've added offices in Sofia, Bulgaria, Tel Aviv, Kiev, Ukraine, Plovdiv, Bulgaria, the UK, Ireland, and that, the worldwide team is awesome.
Yeah, I think the growth and the true like global nature of DraftKings is definitely engage, like exciting. Like I think for me, I work on a global team. I engage with teammates all over the world every day. And it's those unique perspectives that just continuously push the bar higher and higher. And I think we're truly able to innovate because of all those diverse perspectives. So I think, for me coming on board about 8 months ago, it's been something that I didn't expect. I didn't really know what working on a true global team was like. And it has been just such an incredible experience.
The thing that I would also emphasize that you said is I think that where we've done a really good job is I feel like we're truly a global team. It's not people work together across boundaries, across locations. And I think COVID to some extent has facilitated that to make it easier to be one team. It's not, we don't call it the Tel Aviv team or the Bulgaria team or the Ireland team. It's, they're one group of people. It's our data engineers or our sportsbook teams. So it's really been amazing to see how, COVID as well as Zoom have changed the dynamics of how we operate. And it's been wonderful in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back on your time at DraftKings, what has been your biggest surprise or maybe your aha moment while here?
My biggest surprise. So that's a great question. Just every single time we step into a new physical office. So we started off in my spare bedroom. We moved to a small 10-person office. Then, it was a 40-person office, and it was a 300. And now, we have more than 1,000 people in the Boston area, and globally, it's even larger. And I think the kind of the physical space represents these like fundamental shifts in how what your organization is. Being an online company, you sometimes kind of lose the perception of of scale and how many people are there supporting this thing, which is like your baby. We built this from nothing, and all of those are always for me it's a little bit of like a pinch yourself type situation. Like, wow, like it's really amazing what DraftKings has become. And I would say the other one is just seeing our brand be part of the fabric of sports. And you are watching a random sporting event at the bar, and you see the DraftKings logo in back, and you don't even it's so normal now that in itself is amazing. It's just part of the the kind of the fabric of how people think about sports in the US. And those have been really amazing moments for me as a founder to see. And then every time we scale the organization, we acquired a company during COVID, which was an amazing experience, and we brought on a lot of new people. Those have been great moments as well for the organization.
Love that.
Speaking of COVID, what challenges has the team faced this year due to COVID? Can you talk a little bit about maybe what the company has done, or maybe things that we had to do differently because of the the situation that was going on?
Yeah, COVID was a very interesting time for DraftKings because we were in the beginning of COVID, we acquired a large organization. We became a public company. We've acquired actually multiple companies throughout the last year during COVID, and we've had to integrate them. And it's we moved from from all being in office to a very remote working environment as as an organization over the past year. And we've really had to adjust how we work together. And I think that in many cases, it's actually been a blessing a blessing for us, because with a global workforce that we've all been able to communicate, and everyone is on the same exact playing field. And it's been really fascinating to watch how communication and how teams have formed, and teams have not formed around locations where people go and eat their lunch, but they formed around teams. And that's actually been really really great. I think one of the things that I miss and I'm excited about is seeing people still, I'm sure that everyone that's listening to this has, they love to, it's seeing their friends, their colleagues. Many of the people that, that work at DraftKings, I've worked with for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 years. And I miss those people. I miss seeing them in person. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think a lot of people, as people have started coming into the office a little bit more, are really realizing how much they've missed that. But, I would say that from a overall standpoint, we have managed to adapt very well. People have worked well together in virtual environments, and I give the team a lot of credit for, not slowing down for a second. People kept up the velocity, created new norms, new systems, and I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish over COVID.
So would you say that, hopefully returning to office is probably what you're looking forward to most this year? Do you have any other, hopes and dreams for this year, I guess, for your teams? What does that look like?
I'm excited for every football season. Even as not being a sports fan, football season is the most exciting time of the year for us because it kicks off the sports calendar. So it's always, we're launching brand new product, new features, new technology. It's our team's, time to shine. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about that. There's a lot of new innovation that's coming out. We recently announced our social platform, making it easy for people to play with their friends, bet with their friends. And, those are brand new features in this space. No one else is doing that. I'm excited to see how that evolves. There's a lot of new products that are launching that are that I can't talk about yet, but they're very cool. I think they're going to do well in the market. So for me, the most exciting time, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, being an entrepreneur, is taking products that I think consumers are going to love, building them and seeing how they do, and getting people's feedback, and monitoring, Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and seeing if we nailed it or if we missed. And that's good. That's what I'm most excited about. The return to office, I think that for our organization, like many others, it's going to be a different world post-COVID than it was, pre-COVID. But I am excited in spending time with the people that I've been friends with for years, that I work with, that I have so much respect for, and getting to see them in person. I legitimately miss those people.
It's gonna be exciting for sure. So rounding out our questions here, we're getting closer to football season. We're growing still, adding people to all of the teams. So, check out our career site for anybody listening. Yes. But what advice would you give a candidate looking to join DraftKings?
So the number one advice I would give is, if you're not a sports fan, you should still apply, because I think we're an amazing company to work for. We are innovative. We are diverse. We have really talented individuals across many different teams. You don't have to be a sports fan. Like I said, for me, I like to watch sports, but I'm not like as avid of a fan as some people are. Give us a try, and be. I really just have A. Let's start over.
No, that's good advice.
I think that's, there's a lot of amazing roles. We're hiring across so many different teams. I genuinely think it's the brightest group of people I've ever had the opportunity to work with. There's so many learning opportunities. It's a company that, moves extremely rapidly. We really like to own our own destiny, and I think that makes it exciting. And every person that we hire has a substantial impact on our organization. And I think that from an employee standpoint makes it a really fun place to work.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Paul, for going through all of these fun questions. We do have one last segment of the podcast, which is a lightning round of questions.
Lightning round.
So we are going to put you through a lightning round, and I will start the timer for 2 minutes now. What is the best advice ever received?
So I think the best advice I've ever received is I was told at one point to do what you're really good at and focus on your strengths. I feel like there's so many times you kind of focus on the things that you need to get better. And I'm a firm believer in if you focus on your strength, you're gonna be great. It's like, LeBron James, he's a great basketball player, and no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to be as good as LeBron. But I'm good at other things. So with my team, we always talk about what's your superpower. And it's actually a question that I ask often in interviews. So if anyone is watching this and they're going to be interviewed by me, I will ask the superpower question, because I think teams are built up of a lot of diverse people with different superpowers. I really love to focus on how do we get people doing what they're best at, because that brings out the best in them. So the best advice I ever received was focus on what you're good at, and try to avoid the things that you're not good at.
Awesome. I'm going to keep that as a real question, and start lightning round now. Where are you from?
So I was originally born in Russia, in Belarus, and my parents are refugees to the US. I did grow up mostly in this area, as I mentioned earlier, in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts area. Nice. So I know it's a lightning round. That was another long answer.
You said you're competitive. What's the best part about Boston?
The seafood.
Okay. Biggest strength.
I love problem solving.
Do you have a favorite holiday?
4th of July. Actually, no, Thanksgiving.
Okay. Summer getaway spot.
My backyard.
Any product or service you can't live without?
My iPhone.
What is the first job you ever had?
Comp USA.
Favorite color?
Green.
What's one item on your bucket list?
I'd like to go to the Maldives.
Okay. Would you rather get a text or a phone call?
Depends.
Okay.
What about your favorite food?
Probably sushi.
Favorite mobile app?
Reddit.
Order out or cook at home?
And that's not including DraftKings, clearly.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Order
out or cook at home?
Order out.
Any hobbies?
I have twin boys, so hanging out with them. They're 6-year-olds.
What about the best part about working from home?
Having dinner with them.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Favorite time of day?
Night, 7 p.m.
Almost
stranded on a deserted island, and you can only bring one item.
Stranded do we have cell phone service? If so, my iPhone.
Okay, right. You're at time. You have reached
all right.
buzzer. Good job. That was fun.
Did I win? I have to know if I won.
I'm going to say you did.
You got through a lot.
Well. You got through, I think we had like maybe one more. Some people don't even get through half. So good work.
All right.
Awesome.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Paul. And be sure to follow us on social media at DraftKings Life, except for LinkedIn, where we are simply DraftKings. This podcast is available on all major podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, we got you. So be sure to download, listen, and even throw us a 5-star rating. So until next time, be safe, be kind, and take care.